Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I've got a very simple question today. How did you start with? Perhaps it was your friend who shook you out of the dead, or maybe it was that loud ringing bell that never stops, or maybe it was your alarm clock. Then, what footwear did you wear while you were going to the bathroom? What soap did you use? Where did you get your uniform from? What did you have for breakfast? Well, you see, you might be thinking how any of this is relevant, or even if it matters. Well, actually, it doesn't. But what does matter is that you and I, we were able to start off our day, and these things, they barely helped. Now think about how many hours, how many production companies around the world, how much labor, how many countries were involved in this whole process just so you and I, just so we could simply start our day. Think about it. How many? Good morning and Assalamu Alaikum. My name is Cadet Ramlan Rashid, and it is an honor to be here today as a representative of the Girls Cadet College Maidan and talk about how globalization can survive if all the stakeholders act and contribute duly. So, globalization. It is said that when events taking place in one part of the world affects people of distant areas, a major world phenomenon called as globalization takes place. For example, consider a child wearing a t-shirt and sipping Coke and eating a hamburger anywhere around the world is a product of globalization. In today's global village, globalization and its future, it can be well understood with the help of two concepts. On one end, we have the globalist view, which says that globalization is to ever prosper and never to end. While on the other end, we have the realist view, which points towards the temporary nature of globalization and how it is soon going to perish. You see, no matter what view a person might support, it is inevitable that the lack of due and proper action on the part of the stakeholders can soon lead to the backfiring of this major world phenomenon, and it may. You see, considering the recent actions of different stakeholders at various social, political, and economic arenas, do we really think that the world is going to continue with its interrelations? Are there going to be no repercussions to be faced, no broken treaty here or a sanction imposed there? None of that? How is that possible? How is it possible that the major world countries are going to impose sanctions on other countries and international trade and commerce is still going to prosper? How is it possible that Islamophobia is not going to reach its peak when we, instead of teaching our children to portray a positive image of Islam, we're teaching them how to hate the West? How is it possible for countries like Pakistan not to back off from organizations like CEO and CENTO when they're getting played by major political stakeholders? Do we really think that this globalization is never going to go down the loop, regardless of the continuous invigilance of the stakeholders? You see, Mr. President, if these stakeholders, if they continue with the same kind of invigilance, economic recessions are going to come. Economic imbalance is going to be created. Consumerism will skyrocket, and so will climate change and poverty and world hunger. The question at this point arises, how can the stakeholders act in a way that is due and that is proper? For starters, discouragement of capitalism by the stakeholders will ensure a equal distribution of wealth and resources, unlike how the G7 countries are exploiting countries like Pakistan at the moment. Secondly, if the political stakeholders, if they focus more on humanitarian goals instead of being selfish, places like Kashmir and places like Burma are going to prosper once again. Thirdly, if countries like China and North Korea, if they start interacting with other countries in terms of technology, communicational advances are going to be increased by tenfold. And lastly, if we as individuals and community, if we start focusing and investing our efforts into our kids, our youth, our students, and if we start teaching them about world peace, about world cultures, about understanding, instead of creating misunderstanding and hatred in their minds, this power over men will soon shift to power with men, and the zero-sum game will soon transition towards a mixed motive game. And maybe one day globalization can once again become a win-win situation. Thank you.